Die-hard Andy Griffith fans can probably name a few of their favorite episodes off the top of their head. You have classics like Opie the Birdman, The Pickle Story, and Barney's First Car to name a few, but there are plenty of others that stand out as particularly outstanding. If you head on over to the Internet Movie Database, however, you'll find that one episode is rated best among all others. Join Facts First as we take a look back on this top-rated episode while exploring a few of the reasons why fans of the series think it deserves the top spot. IMDb's top-rated Andy Griffith Show episode, Convicts-at-Large. This episode was the 11th to air during the show's third season. In it, most of the action took place just outside of town in a cozy little country cabin. The episode starts off with 3 female prisoners busting out of county jail. Andy was doing some paperwork at the Mayberry courthouse when he learned of their breakout via a radio bulletin that stated that while the women weren't armed, they should still be considered dangerous. The radio announcer went on to say the leader of the outfit was someone named Big Maud Tyler, who was 5'6" with dark hair and a weight of 175. He then listed off several of her aliases, including Clarice Tyler, Maud Clarice Tyler, Annabelle Tyler, and Ralph Henderson. Barney and Mayberry's barber, Floyd, had been out fishing together. On their way back to town, they ran out of gas. In their moment of vulnerability, they got caught by the convicts and were taken hostage in the cabin. Floyd seemed to all but enjoy his visit being held captive. Eventually, however, the escaped prisoners gave in to their captives' demands to go out in search of food. Barney then tried, although without success, to escape. Back in Mayberry, Andy ran into the owner of the cabin and realized something fishy was happening. He proceeded to then help orchestrate the escaped prisoner's capture and his friend's release. Before we tell you more about the episode, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Why Convicts-at-Large is the top dog. The episode holds a 9.3 rating on IMDb, thanks in large part to actor Howard McNear's unforgettable performance as Mayberry barber Floyd Lawson. McNear's performance is funny because he constantly sees things in an eccentric way and delivers his disconnected lines with perfect timing. Throughout the series, his character was known for being friendly, easily riled up, and a bit gossipy. The way McNear tapped into all these qualities in this episode was downright masterful. He had the right look, too. Floyd was a kind of funny-looking man who was always getting startled by mundane events happening around him. In Convicts-at-Large, Floyd pretty much made himself at home in the middle of a pretty dangerous situation. His naive yet innocent cluelessness was downright golden. At one point, one of the captors forces Barney to get up and dance with her. McNear, as Floyd, simply sits back and peels and eats a banana while watching them admiringly, seemingly oblivious to the danger he and Fife were in. Like a child, he gets caught up in the music while losing sight of the gravity of the situation. Floyd was one of the most loved characters on Griffith. After Opie and Aunt Bee, the most beloved Andy Griffith Show character had to be gossipy yet dedicated town barber Floyd. His shop was where all the local men of Mayberry gathered for a trim, but it also served as one of the town's most significant social hubs. Howard McNear was brought onto the show during its first season and stayed until his tragic and untimely death in 1967. McNear's portrayal of Floyd was, without a doubt, one of the best comedic characterizations seen on TV at the time, or since. McNear suffered a major stroke. In 1963, just 1 year after Convicts-at-Large was made, Howard suffered a stroke that left him almost fully paralyzed on the left side of his body. The actor was unable to continue working on the series for a little under 2 years, but he eventually returned back to the cast. On just about any other series, such a catastrophic medical event would have forced an actor into early retirement, and it almost did for McNear as well, but Andy wouldn't allow it. He knew how much McNear's role meant to him, and he didn't want to take that away from him. For quite some time, the Andy Griffith Show focused on what Griffith called soft shows, episodes that focused mainly on Opie and Aunt Bee, but they desperately needed comedy scenes to break things up. What they really needed was McNair. After some time, Andy got in touch with McNear's wife, who agreed it would probably be good for him to get back to work. Due to McNear being limited to just one side of body mobility, however, Griffith and Company wrote him into the scenes in ways that worked around his limitations. They came up with scenes where he could stand behind the barber chair while using his good hand. Even though he was dealing with a physical disability, his mind was as sharp as ever. After suffering his first stroke in 1963, McNear was able to return back to the show 2 years later in '65. Just 2 years after that, however, he suffered yet another stroke that ultimately claimed his life. Jack Dodson, the actor who played Howard Sprague, later wrote about the scene that proved to be McNear's last. Dodson recalled how there was a point when everyone realized McNear couldn't go on anymore. He could no longer remember his lines despite going over them repeatedly. He became frustrated with his limitations. Dobson said seeing McNear's despair and anxiety was one of the most painful experiences he ever had. After that, McNear wasn't able to come back and keep working. After his death, most of the cast attended his funeral. Legendary TV producer Richard Linke described the event as being the only funeral he'd ever attended where the laughs exceeded the tears. A few Convicts-at-Large Fun Facts. As we already alluded to, Convicts-at-Large was the last appearance of Howard McNear before he had the stroke that rendered half of his body paralyzed and forced him to leave the show for the better part of 2 years. One of the convicts, Naomi, was played by actress Jean Carson, who also played Griffith fun girl Daphne. Rita Shaw, the actress who played Big Maud, made another appearance on the series in the Season 4 episode The Songfesters. She played Eleonora Poultice, Barney Fife's vocal coach. In the market scene, the signs that are hanging in the window change from the time Floyd leaves the store to the next scene when Mr. O'Malley and Andy meet. There are also shoppers out front of the store where there weren't moments before. Early in the episode, Floyd and Barney are alerted to the fact that someone was inside Mr. O'Malley's cabin by smoke rising out of the chimney, but when we see inside the cabin, logs are shown but no fireplace. And remember how Floyd's car ran out of gas? Well, when Sally and Floyd go to the market to fetch food, they take that same car. No explanation was ever given on how they managed to find enough gas to get to town and back. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite episode of The Andy Griffith Show? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.